Hi, my name is Hannah, and today I am going to be rewriting the ending of the book 19 Minutes by Jodi Picoult. So, March 6th, 2007, Chapter 1, New Beginnings. It was the summer of 2007 and already things were getting better. Alex Cormier was running late once again. She ran down the stairs. She carried her high heels and her files that she had brought home that weekend. Obviously, she overslept. She rushed into the kitchen and quickly made her coffee and poured it into a to-go cup. She tied her hair into a bun and hurried out the door. She hopped into her old truck with the paint stains and the dents and pulled out of her driveway. She did this every morning and never thought she would still be doing it after 20 years. The frost on the windows and her cold hands told her it was going to be a very cold morning. She walked into her office, sipping her coffee, and slumped into a chair at the desk, making it very hard to see that she was ready for her big meeting. Alex! Her best friend Amy walked into her office, grabbed her shoulders, and shook her violently. Wake up! Okay, I'm awake. What do you want? Alex said while rubbing her eyes, which was followed by the long yawning and the stretching. She got up and sat back down. Thanks, Amy. Now I can't even remember what I was going to do, Alex said with irritation in her voice. Alex! She yelled. Amy, stop yelling at me! Alex got up. Well, I wouldn't have to yell at you if you wrote things down, she said, taking a sip of Alex's coffee. What? Alex said while sitting back down. You know you were supposed to wear your skirt today, she said, staring at Alex. Alex looked puzzled and tilted her head aside a couple times. That seemed to work when she was trying to remember something. The meeting! Amy yelled, almost knocking Alex over in her chair. Oh my gosh, the meeting! Alex stood up and rushed out the door. Amy followed close behind, slamming the door behind her. As Alex walked to the meeting, she remembered she had forgotten to tell Josie about babysitting Mrs. Henry's cat. Josie Cormier got up and made herself some breakfast. She knew her mom had already left for work and was probably already there. Josie cracked an egg on the pan and it sizzled. She cracked another and another. They sizzled so loud she couldn't even hear her little radio. She turned it up and her favorite song was on. She sang along and danced and slid around on the kitchen floor in her socks. She flipped her eggs and they plopped on a plate. She sat on the floor and turned on the TV. She ate her eggs slowly and pulled on a blanket. Her phone buzzed. She quickly turned her head to the sound. It buzzed again. She put down her eggs and walked to her phone. She picked it up and clicked answer. Hello? Hey, Josie, it's Mom. Hey, Mom, I thought you were at work. I am. Then why are you calling me? Josie looked puzzled. Listen, Josie, Mrs. Henry's from across the street. You know the creepy old lady? Yes, Josie said with a laugh. Well, she's coming over and she's bringing your cat, Mr. I can't remember his name. But I said you would take care of him while I was gone. What? I don't want to watch that stupid cat. I won't do it. Josie, please. Mom, I have to go. She's here. Good luck. Josie clicked the phone off and put it on the couch, and she walked slowly to the door. Chapter 2. The Little Horror. Josie, Josie, Josie. I'm coming, Mrs. Henry's. Josie opened the door to the little old wrinkly lady that she feared. She winced. Here's my cat, Mrs. Henry said in her little shaky voice. She put her hand towards me, holding the cat in it. I took her while she handed me the food and a box of toys and the dishes and the kitty litter along with the litter box. She pointed her old shaky finger at me and lowered her head. You better take good care of my cat, she said with a stomp. Then she slowly walked back over to her house and slammed the door. Shut the door, put down the cat, set up her water and her food dishes in the litter box. I poured water in her bowl and walked back into the kitchen. I sat in the living room and got on my computer to do my work for the day. The cat just wandered around the house while I worked. A couple hours later, I couldn't find the cat. I looked around everywhere, every crack and small hiding place I could find. Then I looked to see if she could have escaped anywhere. I called my mom. Mom, what? I can't find the cat. Just look up. I looked up and she was laying on the fan. Found her. Thanks, Mom. Put down my phone and went to get the ladder. I set up the ladder and I started to climb. I reached for the cat. Come down, kitty, kitty, kitty. Time to eat your dinner. The cat jumped to another blade and out of my reach. I spun the fan around slowly and she jumped to another fan blade. I sighed. I spun it faster, and she just kept jumping. Then I had an idea. I climbed down and I turned on the fan. She flew right down and hit me in the face. I sat up to her on my leg. She hissed at me. Then she scratched me right across my face. Ow! I picked her up and she threw her on the couch. She rolled on her back and rubbed her head against the couch, and she was purring. I sat down next to her. She hopped up and came to lay in my lap. I petted her. She purred so loud, nothing like I've ever heard. Sorry I threw you. Then I smiled. You can't hear me. She licked my hand with her scratchy little tongue. I petted her some more. Chapter 3. The Big Secret. Josie heard a very strange noise. She directed her ear to the sound. She jumped up and raced to the door, avoiding the cat that was laying in the middle of the hallway. She ran to the knob and turned it. Slowly creaked the door open, and there it was, the newspaper that was going to reveal her identity. She picked it up and brought it inside, slamming the door behind her. She sat down on the newly polished chair and stared at the newspaper. Don't open it, she thought to herself. Open it. No. You know you want to. No. Her hand hit the table and slowly moved toward the paper. She stuck her finger under and lifted. Her eyes widened, and her hand hit the table with a bang. There she was, in the newspaper. Josie Cormier, she read from the paper, has been released from all charges. Can't believe this. Stupid people. She didn't want to just revisit the terrifying experience, and now everyone would know all the details, even the parts she hadn't told her mom. But she put her fingers on her chin and squinted her eyes. Embarrassed for lying to her mother, she thought, how can I keep my mom from seeing this? Josie stood up and picked up the paper. She walked into the closet and threw it up on the shelf, then covering it with some old clothes. Her mother's ugly dress, to be exact. She went into the living room and she played with the cat and watched some TV. Oh my God, Josie yelled. It's 7:03. How did the time just get away from me like that? Josie jumped up to find the paper in her mother's closet when she heard the car door slam. Ah, my mom's home. She ran back to lay on the couch. Hey, Josie, Alex said as she walked in the door. Hey, Mom, Josie said irritated. Alex leaned back and looked at her daughter. What's the matter with you? Her forehead wrinkled. Nothing, Josie said, picking up. Good. Alex set her bag down and hung up her hat and her coat. Hey, do you know where my old dress is? The one that you used to call ugly? Alex smiled. I thought it was in my closet. Josie turned white and her heart sank into her stomach. She choked on her words. No, Mom, I don't think it's in your closet. Don't look there. Josie pointed her mom in the other direction. Maybe you left it in your hamper. Josie started ripping everything out of her mother's hamper. Alice got down on her hands and knees and started cleaning up the dirty clothes on the floor. Josie, stop it. Stop throwing my laundry on the ground. Alex started to get up. Clean this up. I'm going to look for my dress. Don't you try and stop me. Alex pointed her finger at Josie, the same way Mrs. Henry's did. Mom, no, Alex said, interrupting her. Pick up the laundry and don't make a sound. A few minutes later, Alex walked out of the room in a huff. No dress in sight. Yes, Josie whistled under her breath. She looked back at her mom, who was sitting at the table with her head in her hands. Mom, I'm sorry. I didn't know you needed that dress. Alex looked up at Josie. So what did you do with it? Alex stared at Josie. Josie just stared past her, thinking about the time when she used to hang out with her mom. They did awesome things together, and they had just girls' days. Then she got a nasty boyfriend and got a stupid job, along with a new house and stupid neighbors that shoot arrows through her open windows. That was before she started getting into trouble, so her mom would make them move back to California. Alex got up. You think I wanted to come home to this? Alex stomped. You and I were going to get out to eat tonight, but you lost the only dress I have. Josie ran upstairs and covered the newspaper with her dad's old stuff. Then she got the dress and ran back downstairs. Here, Josie handed the dress to her mom, and Alex came in with a big surprise hug. They talked it out and later found themselves at the fanciest restaurant in town, La Prince. Josie breathed. Cool. They were about to be seated when the waiter screamed. What? My mother said, concerned. You're the psycho girl from the newspaper. Mom stared at me. I saw you in the paper. The waiter lady continued to scream. My mother grabbed my arm and we walked out of the restaurant. Oh no, I thought. Here comes the yelling. When we got home, there was silence. My mom continued to sit at the table with her head in her hands. So they were right. My mom took her head out. Who? I looked at my mother. My friends. They told me that they saw you in the paper. They told me all the details. I didn't believe them. Mom, that's not me. It has to be someone else. I saw Pepper on the couch and I bent down to feed her. You swear? Mom looked me dead in the eye. Yes, I swear. I lied. I can't tell my mom that was me. She can't find the paper, I thought. Chapter 4. The Bigger Secret. I woke up that morning from exhaustion, and I went downstairs to lay on the couch. My mom surprised me when she was standing right there at the bottom of the stairs. Why did you lie to me, Josie? My mom stared at me. I looked for the newspaper, but I didn't see it. What? I said, puzzled. You told me the cat was here. She is. I let out a sigh of relief. I looked up at the fan, and a light, fluffy, frisky, frail tail hanging above. I climbed up the ladder, still on the wall, and I picked her and I handed her to my mom. My mom cuddled with her on the couch, then fed her. Josie's phone buzzed. She turned her head. It buzzed again. She got up and picked up the phone. Hello? Hey. Josie's boyfriend Matt was on the other end. Josie turned her head to see her mom distracted with the cat. She shot up the stairs and laid down on her bed. Hey, what are you up to? Josie said with delight. The person she could talk to privately, with no distraction. I'm just outside your window. Josie smiled. She got up and looked out her window, and there he was. She smiled a wide grin. She opened the window and he crawled inside. They talked about getting an apartment and starting a new life. He gave her a kiss, went out the window, and she closed it behind him. She walked down the stairs, laughing to herself about Matt climbing in the window. When she walked down the stairs, her mother was watching the Today Show. My mother sipped her coffee. Who's on the phone? Alex said without even looking up. Josie was confused. Matt. He was helping me with my homework. Josie came and sat down next to Alex. She patted Pepper, who was sitting in Alex's lap. Oh, so what did you do today? Alex sipped more of her coffee, then licked her lips and closed her eyes, loving the unique taste. Josie thought. Homework. I watched some TV, played on my phone, texted, played with Pepper. She paused. Matt called a couple times wanting my homework. Sounds like a typical day. Alex sipped more coffee. Pepper licked Josie's foot and Josie itched her foot from the tickles. Alice got up to go into the kitchen and she poured herself more coffee. She sipped and making a weird face and pouring extra creamer into the mug. She leaned over the counter to look in the cabinet for sugar. She walked back into the living room and sat on the couch. Well, looks like I need to go to the store, buy some sugar. Alice got up and put on her coat. She grabbed her keys. You coming? Alex stared at Josie. Nah, I need to catch up on some work. Josie grabbed her laptop and began typing. Alex sighed and shut the door behind her. As soon as Alex left, Josie darted up the stairs to find the newspaper gone. Josie's heart sank and she fell to the floor. She started to cry. After a couple hours, she got up and began looking through the newspaper. She finally found it in her mother's bathroom. Tears were pouring down her face. Thoughts were spinning through her head. She waited for her mom to get home. 7 o'clock hit and she wasn't home still. She finally got home and Josie had a great relief, but not only that, a great pain was in her stomach. Hey, I'm home. She put down her bag and put the groceries in the fridge. Get anything done? Alice walked into the living room. Josie stared at her. She stood up. Where have you been? I've been waiting for you. I thought you were just getting sugar. Josie, calm down. I ran into a friend. I had to go over. She got a new puppy. Josie sat down. Her stomach nodded. Josie got the newspaper from the bathroom and showed to her mom. I saw. Alex drew in a big breath, then let it out. How could you? Alex stared at Josie. How could you not tell me you saw it? Josie was angry. She sat down on the couch. Alice got up and sat down next to Josie. So, what happened? I know it's not your fault because you don't do this kind of stuff. Alex looked at Josie. Well, it was the summer of August 2002, Josie began. I was at home watching TV, and I was being bored, and I wanted to go down to the corner store and buy some soda or candy or something. Josie switched positions to be more comfortable. My soda was okay, and my chocolate-covered raisins were even worse. I was starting to walk away when I turned to see a car swerve out of control and hit a girl, knocking her down into a grassy ditch. I ran over the edge and looked over. There was a girl, and her face and her body were covered in blood. Before I could react, there was a policeman handcuffing me and taking me away. At that moment, I knew my life would change forever. The events of the next 19 minutes will haunt me for the next 19 years.